There is a truth that most people do not want to hear. In 2026, many people will not truly live a new year. They will simply live the same old year one more time. The same habits, the same excuses for procrastination, the same level of income, the same level of discipline, and then they ask themselves, why hasn't my life changed? You see, life never stands still. If you are not moving forward, you are falling behind. While you are procrastinating, someone else is learning new skills. While you are waiting for the right time, someone else is building opportunities. And while you think you still have plenty of time, time is quietly compounding the consequences of your choices. I have met many people in my life. People who are intelligent, people who have potential, people who have big dreams. But after many years, they are still exactly where they started. Not because they lacked opportunities, not because they lacked talent, but because they never improved themselves strongly enough. The truth is this: life does not reward what you wish for. Life rewards what you become. So the important question is not, do you want 2026 to be better? The real question is, who do you need to become in 2026? In this video, I will share the 10 most important things you must improve in 2026 if you want to go further in your career, become stronger in discipline, and build a life you are truly proud of. And the last one may be the only thing that separates people who talk about success from those who actually achieve it. The first thing, self-discipline, the foundation of everything. When I was younger, I used to think success came from big moments, a big opportunity, a big idea, a big turning point. But after many years of observing life and working with thousands of people, I realized a much simpler truth. Success is rarely built in big moments. It is built in the small choices you repeat every day. And the name of those choices is discipline. You see, many people misunderstand self-discipline. They think discipline is punishment. They think discipline is restriction. They think discipline means a dry life without joy. But I have never seen discipline that way. To me, discipline is the bridge between where you are standing and where you want to go. You can have dreams. You can have goals. You can have a wonderful plan. But without discipline, all of those things are just good intentions. And life does not reward intentions. Life rewards repeated action. I remember a story from very early in my life. When I was about 25 years old, my life was not going well. I was not rich. I was not successful. And I did not have much direction. One day, I met my mentor, Earl Schoaf. He told me something very simple. He said, "Jim, if you want your life to get better, you have to become better." At that moment, I was a little surprised. I thought he would tell me, find a better job, make more money, find the right opportunities. But he did not say that. He said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And that was when I began to understand the power of discipline. Self-discipline does not start with big things. It starts with small decisions. For example, do you get up when the alarm clock rings? Do you read a few pages of a book every day? Do you do the things you promised yourself even when no one is watching? Those actions may seem very small, but when you repeat them every day, they begin to build something very important. Trust in yourself. And when you trust yourself, your life begins to change. Many people wait for motivation. They say, I will start when I feel motivated. But that is backwards thinking. The truth is, action creates motivation, not the other way around. When you begin to act, you create momentum. And when momentum begins to appear, everything becomes easier. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. Remember one thing, every time you choose the easy path, you are signing a silent agreement with your future. You are saying, I will pay the price later. But every time you choose discipline, you are buying something very valuable for yourself. Freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from mediocrity. Freedom from a life you do not truly want to live. So I want you to ask yourself a very simple question. What disciplines do you need to build in 2026? Maybe it is waking up earlier, learning a new skill, reading books every day, exercising, saving money, or finishing the things you usually procrastinate on. You do not have to start big, just start small, but start for real. Because when you build self-discipline, you build the foundation of every success. And once that foundation is strong enough, you can build anything on top of it. But discipline is only the first step. There is another factor that most people lose in the modern world. A factor that can determine whether your efforts create results or simply create busyness. And that factor is focus. The second thing, focus. The power of concentrated attention. After you begin building self-discipline, there is another factor that will determine whether your efforts create real results or simply create busyness. That factor is focus. I have observed something very interesting in life. Many people work very hard, yet they still do not achieve the results they want. Not because they are lazy, not because they lack ability, but because their energy is scattered. They work on a little bit of this, a little bit of that, another small project. They start many things, but rarely finish the things that matter most. You see, the human mind is like light. When light is scattered, it is only strong enough to illuminate a room. But when light is concentrated, it becomes a laser that can cut through steel. Life works in a very similar way. Scattered energy creates busyness. Focused energy creates results. One of the biggest problems in the modern world is distraction. Every day, hundreds of things are trying to capture your attention. Your phone, social media, messages, emails, news, all of them want a small piece of your attention. And the dangerous part is this. You may not notice it immediately, but every time you allow your attention to be pulled away, you weaken your ability to focus. I often say this, attention is a form of currency, and just like money, if you spend it unconsciously, you will soon realize you have nothing left to invest in the things that truly matter. Many people confuse activity with progress. They think that if they stay busy all day, they are getting closer to success. But being busy does not always mean being effective. You can spend the whole day answering emails. You can spend the whole day solving small problems. You can spend the whole day reacting to what others ask from you. And at the end of the day, you may still feel like you did many things. But the important question is, what did you actually do that moved you closer to your goals? That is the difference between busy people and productive people. Busy people do many things. Productive people do the right things. Focus requires you to make difficult choices. Because every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to many other things. You cannot pursue every opportunity. You cannot do every project. You cannot respond to every request. Successful people understand this very clearly. They do not try to do everything. They choose a few things that matter the most and focus all their energy on them. I have seen many very talented people fail, not because they lacked ability, but because they pursued too many directions at the same time. They wanted to build a business, learn many different skills, join many projects, pursue many opportunities. The result was that their energy was divided. And when energy is divided, results are divided too. On the other hand, truly exceptional people often share one very clear characteristic. They know what matters most. And they protect their focus like a valuable asset. If you want 2026 to become a different kind of year, start with a simple question. What truly deserves your focus? Not what is the loudest, not what is the most attractive, but what is most important for your future. Maybe it is building an important skill, developing your career, improving your health, building a business, or completing a major goal. Once you have identified that, your task is to protect your focus. Do not let everything pull you in different directions. Remember one thing, success rarely comes from doing many things at the same time. Success usually comes from doing one important thing for a long enough period of time. Focus turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. When you control your attention, you begin to control your future. But even if you have discipline and focus, there is still another factor that can destroy all your plans. A factor that many people overlook. That factor is your energy. The third thing, energy, the engine behind your success. After you build discipline and learn how to focus, there is another factor that determines whether you can sustain progress. That factor is energy. Many people talk about goals. They talk about plans. They talk about ambition. But they forget something very important. You cannot build a powerful life with a body that is always exhausted. You cannot think clearly when your mind is drained. You cannot maintain discipline when your body has no energy left. And you cannot lead your life when you wake up every day feeling depleted. I used to think that success depended only on mental strength. I believed that if you had enough determination, you could overcome anything. But over time, I realized something. Energy is not only physical. It is a combination of physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy. When these three elements are strong, your life begins to operate in a very different way. Difficult things become easier. Challenges become more interesting, and opportunities begin to appear more clearly. Think of your body as the engine of a car. You can have the most beautiful car. You can have the best map. You can know exactly where you want to go. But if the engine is not working well, you will not get very far. Many people try to build a big life, while neglecting the very engine that powers it. They sleep too little. They eat things that weaken their body. They rarely move, and then they wonder why they always feel tired. A body without energy often leads to a mind without clarity. When you are tired, you think more slowly. You decide more slowly. You act more slowly. And in a world that is moving very fast, that delay can cause you to miss many opportunities. But here's the good news. You do not have to change everything at once. Just start with small habits. For example, getting enough sleep. It sounds simple, but many people underestimate it. Sleep is when your body and mind are restored. If you constantly steal your own time for rest, your body will find a way to reclaim it. And usually the price is exhaustion or loss of focus. Then there is nutrition. Food is not just temporary satisfaction. It is fuel for your system. If you put things into your body that reduce your energy, do not be surprised when you feel unmotivated. High-performing people often care not only about their work, they care about what they put into their bodies every day. And finally, movement. The human body was designed to move. When you move, you do not only improve your health, you improve your mood, you improve your ability to focus, you improve personal discipline. Even a short amount of time each day, walking, exercising, or simply moving your body can create a huge difference over time. I want you to remember one thing. Managing energy is more important than managing time. You may have 12 free hours in a day, but if you have no energy, those 12 hours are almost meaningless. On the other hand, when you are full of energy, you can accomplish more in 3 focused hours than in 10 hours of work while exhausted. So ask yourself a question. How are you taking care of the engine of your life? Are you giving your body enough sleep, enough nutrition, enough movement, and enough time to recover? Or are you constantly pushing it to the limit without giving it the chance to recharge? Because if you want to build a powerful 2026, you need a powerful source of energy to carry you there. Discipline creates the foundation. Focus creates direction. But energy creates the power that allows you to keep moving forward. However, even if you have discipline, focus, and energy, there is still another area that can determine your freedom in life. And that area is money and how you manage it. The fourth thing, financial intelligence. Control your money or it will control you. After you begin improving your discipline, focus, and energy, there is another area that many people avoid talking about. That area is money. I have met many people who work very hard. They work long hours. They have stable incomes. They have the ability to earn money. But many years pass, and their financial situation remains the same. Not because they do not earn enough, but because they never learned how to manage money. You see, money is a very honest mirror. It reflects your habits, the way you think, your level of discipline, and your true priorities in life. Many people believe that if they earn more money, their lives will be better. But that is not always true. If you do not know how to manage a small amount of money, having more money will only make the problem bigger. One of the most important lessons I learned very early was this. It does not matter how much you earn. What matters is how much you keep. Many people live in a familiar cycle. They earn money, then they spend money, then they wait for the next month to earn more money. And that cycle continues year after year. But people who build financial freedom usually have a different habit. They keep a portion of everything they earn, not when they become rich, not when they earn more, but from the very beginning. I often say this, the habit of keeping a portion of your income is the seed of financial independence. When you start saving, you begin doing something very important. You begin owning your future. You are no longer completely dependent on your next paycheck. You begin creating a small distance between you and financial pressure. And over time, that small distance can become freedom. Another mistake many people make is spending based on emotion. They buy things they do not truly need, not because it helps them progress, but because it brings temporary comfort, but that feeling usually disappears very quickly. While the financial consequences can last a very long time, each small expense may seem insignificant, but many small expenses repeated every day can become large leaks in your financial ship. And if you do not notice those leaks, the ship will slowly sink. One simple way to start improving your finances is to observe your cash flow. You do not need to become a financial expert, but you need to know where your money is going. When you begin tracking your spending, you will notice something very interesting. You will begin to understand yourself more clearly, because where you spend your money often reflects where you place your attention and priorities. Another very important skill is learning how to delay gratification. Many people want everything immediately. They borrow money to buy things they cannot truly afford yet. They want the feeling of success before building the foundation of success. But life rarely works that way. People who build financial stability are usually willing to wait. They are willing to sacrifice some comfort today to gain more freedom tomorrow. You see, money is not the ultimate goal of life, but the way you handle money can affect your freedom, your level of stress, and the choices you are able to make. When money is managed well, it becomes a tool that helps you build the life you want. But when money is managed poorly, it can become a very demanding master. So I want you to ask yourself a very honest question. Are you controlling your money, or is your money controlling you? Are you keeping a portion of your income, understanding your cash flow, and building good financial habits? Or are you letting everything drift without a clear plan? Because if you want 2026 to become a year of real progress, you must not only improve how you work, you must also improve how you manage what you earn. But even if your finances are stable, there is still another factor that can strongly influence the direction of your life. A factor many people underestimate. That factor is your environment. The fifth thing, environment, the people around you shape your future. After you begin improving your discipline, focus, energy, and how you manage money, there is another factor that strongly influences your life. That factor is your environment. I have observed this for many years. Two people can have the same abilities. Two people can have the same dreams. Two people can start from the same point. But after a few years, their lives can become completely different. One person grows quickly. The other seems to stay in the same place. Many times, the difference is not talent. It is the environment in which they live and work. I often say this: you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you spend most of your time with people who always complain, procrastinate, blame others, or settle for average, it is very difficult to build an extraordinary life. Not because they are bad people, but because environment has a powerful influence. Human beings tend to adapt to the standards around them. If your environment accepts mediocrity, it becomes very easy for you to accept it as well. But if your environment expects excellence, you will begin raising your own standards. This is not only true for people. It is also true for the information you consume every day. What you read, what you listen to, what you watch. All of these things contribute to building your mental environment. If you constantly consume negative content, you will begin thinking in negative ways. If you spend time learning from positive and valuable ideas, your mind will begin developing in that direction. The human mind is like a garden. What you plant in it determines what grows. One important realization that many people discover too late is this: not every relationship helps you move forward. Some relationships bring energy. Some relationships are neutral, and some relationships quietly drain your motivation. There are people who always encourage you to grow, but there are also people who intentionally or unintentionally pull you back toward your comfort zone. They say, "Don't try so hard. That's good enough. Don't dream too big." If you hear those words long enough, you may begin to believe they are true. That does not mean you must judge others, but it does mean you must protect your potential. You need to spend more time with people who have high standards, have clear goals, and are always seeking personal growth. Those people are usually not perfect, but they have one very important quality. They take their lives seriously. And when you are around people like that, something interesting begins to happen. You start raising your own standards. I also believe that environment is not only the people around you, it is also the space where you live and work. A chaotic environment often leads to a chaotic mind. A clear, organized environment can help you think more clearly. Small details sometimes have a bigger impact than we think. A tidy workspace, a quiet place to think, a space that helps you concentrate. All of these things contribute to an environment for growth. So I want you to ask yourself a very important question. Is your current environment helping you grow or keeping you exactly where you are? Are the people you spend time with encouraging you to learn, pushing you to take action, and helping you see your greater potential? Or are they making you comfortable with not changing? Because the truth is this: you may have discipline, you may have a plan, you may have ambition, but if the environment around you constantly pulls you in the opposite direction, the journey becomes much more difficult. Truly successful people are often very careful when choosing their environment. They choose people who challenge them, ideas that help them grow, and places that help them focus on their goals. They understand that environment can nurture potential or suffocate it, So if you want 2026 to become a year of real change, take time to evaluate your environment. Because when the environment is right, growth becomes much more natural. But even in a good environment, there is still another factor that determines how far you can go. That factor is the skills you possess. The sixth thing, skills the marketplace pays for value. After you improve the environment around you, the next step you need to pay attention to is skills. Many people say they want a better life. They want higher income, better opportunities, more respect at work, and more choices in life. But there is a truth I learned very early. The marketplace does not pay for desire. The marketplace pays for value. You may want success. You may want wealth. You may want to go further. But if you do not develop your skills, the outside world has no reason to reward you more. Think about this in a very simple way. If you have two people doing the same job, one person has average skills, one person has superior skills, who do you think will have more opportunities? Who will have more choices? Who will have the ability to create a higher income? The answer is almost always the same. The person with better skills will have a greater advantage. Not because they are luckier, but because they have more value to offer. I often say this. Income rarely exceeds the level of your personal development. If you want your income to increase, you need to do one thing first. You need to become more valuable. That means learn more, practice more, and never stop improving your abilities. One mistake many people make is thinking that learning ends when they leave school. They think that once they have a stable job, they have learned enough. But the world does not stand still. Technology changes. The marketplace changes. The skills needed today may no longer be enough in a few years. If you stop learning, you begin to fall behind. People who go far in life usually have one very clear habit. They keep learning even when no one asks them to do it. They read books. They take courses. They learn from people who are better. They observe, experiment, and improve continuously. Not because they are forced to, but because they understand that skills are assets that can stay with them for life. I have seen many people with great potential who never fully develop their abilities, not because they lack talent, but because they do not spend time sharpening their skills. Talent is the starting point, but skill is the result of deliberate practice. A person with average talent who practices every day will often outperform a person with great talent who does not train. A useful question you can ask yourself is, what skill will help me become more valuable in 2026? Maybe it is communication skills, leadership skills, sales skills, time management skills, or a specialized skill in your field. Once you identify the most important skill, focus on improving it systematically. You do not need to learn everything at once. Just choose one important skill and begin making progress every day. You see, opportunity usually does not come to the person who only waits. Opportunity comes to those who are prepared. When an opportunity appears, the person who has trained their skills will be ready to seize it. The person who is not prepared can usually only stand and watch. And then they say that someone else was lucky. But in many cases, what looks like luck is actually preparation over a long period of time. So remember this. If you want your life to change in 2026, do not focus only on goals. Focus on becoming a more valuable version of yourself. Every new skill you learn is a new door. Every skill you improve is a new advantage. And over time, those small advantages can create a very big difference in your life. But even if you have good skills, there is still another factor that determines whether you can sustain that progress. That factor is your daily habits. The seventh thing, habits, the architecture of your future. After you begin improving your skills, there is another factor that will determine whether those skills actually turn into results in your life. That factor is habits. I have realized something very interesting while observing people for many years. Many people set big goals. They say they want to be more successful, be healthier, be wealthier, or become a better version of themselves. But after some time, their lives remain almost unchanged. Not because their goals are wrong, but because their daily habits remain the same. You see, goals are very important, but goals only give you direction. Habits are what actually get you there. I often say this. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems of habits. If your habits are weak, your goals will always remain just promises. But if your habits are strong, your goals will gradually become reality. Think about an ordinary day in your life. What time do you wake up? What is the first thing you do? Do you spend time on important things, or do you let small things fill your entire day? Those questions may seem simple, but they reveal a great deal about your life. Because your life is not built from rare, major decisions. It is built from the small actions you repeat every day. I have met many people who said they wanted to change their lives, but when I asked about their habits, I realized that almost nothing had changed. They still procrastinate on important things, spend a lot of time on meaningless things, and let their days pass unconsciously. You cannot expect a different life if each day is still exactly like yesterday. Changing your life usually begins by changing a few small habits. One of the most common mistakes is trying to change everything at once. A person decides that starting tomorrow they will wake up earlier, exercise every day, read more books, work more effectively, and give up all bad habits. That intention sounds very good, but in reality, changing too many things at once often leads to failure. A better approach is to start very small. For example, read 10 pages a day, exercise for 15 minutes, spend a few minutes every morning planning your day. Those small actions may seem insignificant, but when you repeat them for many months, they begin to create a compounding effect. Habits work like compound interest. At first, you almost do not see the difference, but over time, small changes begin to create a very large gap. A person who reads a few pages every day may read dozens of books in 1 year. A person who exercises for a few minutes every day can significantly improve their health. A person who spends a few minutes thinking about their goals each day can maintain focus much longer. Another important thing is that habits do not only create results, they create identity. When you read books every day, you begin to see yourself as someone who loves learning. When you exercise regularly, you begin to see yourself as a disciplined person. Every repeated action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, those small votes build the story of who you are. But habits can also work in the opposite direction. Bad habits are often very easy to form, but their consequences usually appear only after a long time. On the other hand, good habits are often difficult to build at first, but once they become part of your life, they make everything easier. You can pay the price now with discipline, or you can pay the price later with regret. The choice is always in your hands. So I want you to ask yourself a very important question. Which habits are building your future, and which habits are quietly destroying it? You do not need to change everything in one day. Just choose one good habit to begin with, and remove one bad habit that is holding you back. When you do that long enough, you will realize that your life is changing in a very natural way. Because in the end, your future is not determined by what you do occasionally. It is determined by what you do every day. But even if you build good habits, life will still have difficult times. There will be failures. There will be challenges. And in those moments, what determines whether you keep moving forward is your mindset. That is when resilience becomes important. The eighth thing, resilience, the strength to continue. When life gets hard, after you begin building good habits, there is one thing that sooner or later you will have to face. That is difficulty. Life does not always go according to plan. There will be times when your plans fail, the people you trust disappoint you, the opportunities you hope for do not happen, and challenges appear when you least expect them. That is a natural part of life. The real question is not whether difficulty will appear. The real question is, how will you respond when it appears? I have seen many talented people. They are intelligent. They have skills. They have opportunities. But when life becomes difficult, they quit. Not because they are not capable enough, but because they do not have mental resilience. On the other hand, I have also met people who started with very few advantages, but they had one very powerful quality. They do not give up easily. They fail. They learn. They adjust. And they keep moving forward. Over time, that very quality helps them go much farther than people who are talented but easily discouraged. Resilience does not mean you do not feel pain. It does not mean you are never disappointed. It does not mean you never face hardship. Resilience means you do not let those difficulties define you. When something does not go as you hoped, you have two ways to respond. You can say, "Life is against me." Or you can ask, "What can I learn from this?" Those two ways of thinking can lead to two completely different lives. People with a growth mindset often see failure as a lesson. They understand that every mistake contains important information that helps them become better the next time. Meanwhile, people who give up easily often see failure as a verdict. They think their mistakes prove that they are not good enough, and so they stop. One thing I have learned over the years is this: difficulty often does not come to destroy you. It comes to reveal who you are. When everything is easy, anyone can be confident. Anyone can talk about dreams. Anyone can keep a positive attitude. But when things become difficult, a person's true character begins to show. Strong people become stronger. People who are unprepared often feel lost. Resilience is built before challenges appear. It is built through small habits: reading, reflecting, exercising, journaling, and spending time understanding yourself. Those activities help you build mental strength. When challenges appear, that strength helps you stay calm. You do not react emotionally. You think, you assess the situation, and you find a way to move forward. Another factor that helps build resilience is gratitude. This may sound simple, but it is very powerful. When you focus on what you still have, instead of what you have lost, your perspective changes. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you begin to see opportunities for growth. I want you to remember something very important. Life does not become easier. You become stronger. The challenges you overcome today will become the foundation of your confidence tomorrow. Every time you stand up after a failure, you send yourself a very powerful message. That message is, I can get through this. And over time, that belief becomes part of who you are. So ask yourself a question. Are you reacting to difficulty, or are you learning from it? Are you allowing challenges to stop you, or are you using them to become stronger? Because on the journey of life, resilience is not optional. It is a necessary quality. But even if you have discipline, focus, energy, skills, habits, and resilience, there is still one very important thing that many people lack. One thing that can determine the direction of your entire life. That is vision. The ninth thing, vision. Know where you are going. After you build discipline, focus, energy, skills, habits, and resilience, there is still one important factor that can determine the entire direction of your life. That factor is vision. I have met many people who work extremely hard. They stay busy from morning until night. They always have something to do. But after many years, they still feel like they are running without knowing where they are running to. You see, being busy does not always mean making progress. You can spend an entire year working very hard. But if you do not know what you are moving toward, it is very easy to end that year in exactly the same place where you started. Vision is the ability to see the future before it happens. Not by magic, but through clarity of thought. Vision helps you answer important questions such as, what do I want my life to look like? What kind of person do I want to become? What do I want to contribute to the world? If you do not answer those questions for yourself, it is very likely that the world around you will answer them for you. And sometimes that answer is not what you truly want. One of the most dangerous things in life is living according to other people's expectations. Many people spend years pursuing goals they think they are supposed to pursue, a job that society considers good, a path that the people around them consider safe, a lifestyle that others consider successful. But when they achieve those things, they realize they still feel empty, because they never truly took the time to ask, what do I really want? Vision does not always arrive like a lightning bolt. Sometimes it appears very quietly. It appears through the things that make you curious, the things that make you feel excited, the problems you always want to solve. If you pay attention to those signals, you will begin to see a picture that becomes clearer and clearer. Vision is like the blueprint of a building. No one begins constructing a great building without a blueprint. But many people begin building their lives without any blueprint at all. They work, they make money, they react to whatever happens around them. But they rarely stop to think about their long-term direction. When you have vision, many decisions become easier. You are no longer pulled in every direction by every opportunity. You are no longer distracted by every new idea. You begin to ask a simple question. Does this move me closer to my vision? If the answer is yes, you focus on it. If the answer is no, you learn to say no. Vision helps you save a great deal of time and energy. Another important thing is that vision needs to be written down. When you write down your goals and desires, they become clearer. You can see them, you can think about them, and you can adjust them when necessary. A written vision is like a compass. When life becomes chaotic, it helps you find your direction again. I often say this, purpose answers the question why. Vision answers the question where. When you know why you are doing something, you have motivation. When you know where you are going, you have direction. When those two things come together, your life begins to have stronger meaning and momentum. So I want you to ask yourself a very important question. Are you designing your life, or are you simply reacting to it? Do you take time to think about the future you want to build, or are you letting circumstances decide for you? Because when your vision is clear, every action you take begins to have purpose. You are no longer just living day by day. you begin building a future. But even if you have a clear vision, there is still one final factor that determines whether that vision becomes reality. A factor that separates people who talk about goals from those who actually achieve them. That factor is accountability. The 10th thing, accountability, the bridge between intention and results. After you have a clear vision for your future, there is still one final factor that determines whether that vision becomes reality. That factor is accountability. You see, many people know what they should do. They know they need to be more disciplined, be more focused, build better habits, learn more skills, and manage their time better. But knowing what is right and actually doing it are two completely different things. The gap between those two things is accountability. Accountability means taking full responsibility for your life, not partially, not only when things go well, but always. It is very easy to blame things when life does not go as planned. You can blame circumstances, the economy, the company, your boss, or the people around you. And sometimes those factors really do have an influence. But what is important is this. When you blame everything outside of yourself, you also give control of your life to those things. On the other hand, when you accept responsibility, you take that control back. One of the reasons many people do not achieve their goals is that they do not have a system of accountability. They set goals. They feel very excited in the first few days. But then life gets busy, motivation fades, and the goal is gradually forgotten. Accountability helps prevent that from happening. It turns good intentions into real action. One simple way to build accountability is to measure your progress. There is a very powerful principle. What gets measured gets improved. If you want to read more books, track how many pages you read each day. If you want to improve your finances, track your spending. If you want to improve your health, track your workouts and your diet. When you can see your progress, you gain motivation to continue. And when you see that you are falling behind, you have a chance to adjust before it is too late. Another way to increase accountability is to share your goals with someone you trust. That could be a friend, a mentor, a coworker, or a group of people who share similar goals. When you know that someone else is following your progress, you tend to take your commitments more seriously, not because of negative pressure, but because you do not want to let them down. However, the strongest form of accountability is still honesty with yourself. Every day you can ask yourself, what did I do today to move closer to my goals? Not last week, not last month, but today, because life is built from small days. One disciplined day may not seem to change much, but hundreds of disciplined days can completely change your life. I often say this, most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. Big changes rarely happen in a single moment. They happen through small actions repeated consistently. Accountability helps you maintain those actions. Even when you do not feel motivated, even when things become difficult, even when results do not appear immediately. So ask yourself a very important question. Who is holding you accountable for your life? Is it circumstances, luck, or outside factors? Or are you the one holding yourself accountable? Because when you accept accountability, you stop waiting for change. You begin creating change. And this is what I want you to remember as this video comes to an end. The year 2026 will pass whether you change or not. Time always continues. The only question is, will you come out of 2026 as the same person or as a stronger version of yourself? If you are serious about your life, start today. Choose one thing from this list. Begin improving it and keep moving forward one step at a time. Because in the end, your life is not determined by what you intend to do. It is determined by what you actually do every day. If this video brought value to you, take a second to hit like, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next lessons, and share this video with a friend who needs to hear this. And I also want to hear from you. Leave a comment below. What will you improve in 2026? I would really love to read your answer. And remember this, you and I both have a gift. That gift is today. Use it wisely. I will see you in the next video.